is a job that originated with a general contractor. So we get a lot of different ways that customers come to us. Sometimes they'll have a friend that will refer them to us. Sometimes it's a past customer. A lot of times that's the way it is. You know, they're doing a different kind of project in their house. And then, of course, we have general contractors that we work with that have their own customers, and they come by and see us, and they say, you know, can you help us with a project? And for them, it makes a lot of sense because they do construction. You know, so I guess their forte is, you know, to actually build things, and we try to help develop scope with their customer. So this is a story that we see over and over again. Typically we have a space that no longer functions as originally planned. There's usually a overutilized space and an underutilized space, and they want to just combine the thing into a functional space. You know, so in this case, they had a small kitchen. There were some very, very interesting things in this, and we were kind of glad that we got a chance to do this project, because many times when we're in this, and you can see in this kitchen where the old kitchen was, and how you can see where the old kitchen was is that there's a change in height in the ceiling. So this is a vaulted ceiling, open beam, and what we ended up doing was we ended up encasing it in drywall. But the original kitchen height was actually, a lowered height. And we see that a lot in kitchens like that, where the kitchen space is defined and they don't want a vaulted ceiling. So the kitchen has a height of 8 feet, and then now when we take down the wall, what do we do with that space now when the ceiling is vaulted? So in here, you can actually see that we actually turned the kitchen, from their original intent, which was actually just to make a longer kitchen within their space, and we're able to turn the kitchen 90 degrees. So then that way, we utilize that entire space, and sometimes it's showing the homeowner a space that they thought they wanted, and then for us then to use a computer program to actually lay out the kitchen a different way. So we're able to show them, hey, how about this? And then now that you have an option, so you have 2 or 3 looks, and sometimes they don't go with our ideas, but sometimes, a lot of times, they'd say, well, we never thought about that, and this was one of those times. Oh, funny. This is actually a tile that looks like wood, which is kind of an interesting thing. So sometimes people, so there are a lot of different ways to get a wood look. There's wood itself, and then there's laminate products, and then there's sheet vinyl now, which is actually all the rage. These vinyl planks, SPC, WPC, they want something that's going to be hardier, more waterproof, and then up from that will end up being tile. So, and that's a whole different segment in terms of how to select a floor. But tile is an interesting choice. People, don't understand tile very much, and we try to tell them that tile is a super hardy material. It's hypoallergenic, because it doesn't give off toxins, it doesn't give off fumes. It lasts forever. Tile is one of these materials. I tell people, hey, how long does tile last? Go to Rome. What do you see? When you get off the plane, everything's tile there, and it's been there for I'm going to say hundreds, thousands of years. So as a material choice, for longevity, that's kind of a nice material. In this case, we can actually get it to look like wood too. The brand of cabinet that they chose was Diamond. So this is a cabinet brand that we go to a lot. It is, Casey-made certified, it's carb compliant, has a lifetime warranty, comes in a lot of different colors, a lot of different choices. So this is probably the most accessory-rich line that we carry in terms of gadgets, You know, if you're into gadgets, toe kick drawers and pull-out trays and, you know, spice racks and spice pull, you know, so this brand has it all. Inverted sink cabinets. Yeah, this is kind of a brand that's fun to design with because we get a lot of things into it. Part of the request that they had was, again, you know, making this kitchen, you know, a gathering place, and we see that more and more now in terms of kitchen design. You know, where people, you know, gone I think are the days where, you know, we're preparing in one room and then shutting the room and then preparing in another, or the kitchen help is in one room and they're toiling away while the party goes on in another area. You know, the kitchens now are, you know, meeting places, gathering places, you know, places for people to hang out, you know, so, you know, it's kind of an interesting, you know, change in terms of how we use kitchens. And so, you know, many times that becomes a focal point. In this case, the island becomes a focal point because now we're able to, you know, get people, you know, in there, you know, to actually, you know, sit around. And this island actually has a turn in it. So we actually, instead of just having, you know, this inline seating, we've got chairs on one side of it, so then that way now people can sit diagonally, you know, without, you know, having to do this, you know, leaning forward and leaning back to have conversations. One of the really, really nice things about working with us is that you have the flexibility to buy, you know, some of the things that we offer or none of the things that we offer, you know. So, you know, our company is, how would you put it? It's based on the premise of trying to help people, you know, which I think is unusual in this time. You know, people sometimes, you know, they are surprised that there's no fees that we charge, you know, for all of the design work that we end up doing, and they don't understand a lot of times. Whereas if it doesn't make sense for them to buy it from us, you know, we're actually telling them where to go buy it from. I think, you know, people find that refreshing in this day and age. I think they went with a suite of GE appliances. So, you know, they're in a situation now where, you know, we can, in this case, you know, it makes sense for them to actually purchase things from us because we can offer them, you know, the very best price, you know. So they have that option, again, not to buy it from us, but, you know, my whole thing is, you know, hey, in these things that we can help you, let me give you a price and then you can compare. In this case, you know, they bought it from us.